Okay, let's talk about the equipment for infantry archers. I've been holding off on the equipment for a couple days because I wanted to do a clip about it. So let's start talking about it now. Um, Essentially, you would just go to forage equipment. By default, you do it by the equipment type, and so you'd look at all the swords and all the helms, blah blah blah. The other view you can do is this special equipment, which shows it by set. Essentially, Eternity is a free-to-play set. There is another free-to-play set, which is Marauders. There should be a tab here. It's not there. That's fine. Um, and then essentially, there's a free-to-play set, which is Eternity. A set you can get during KVK, which is Sanctum. And then these pay-to-win sets that are Sir Arms, that are essentially $10,000 to max out. So you pretty much have to be like an insanely high dollar player to max these out. There are the lower levels of the set you can get for a little bit more reasonable price, but I mean, just gives you an idea of how expensive this game really is these pay to win armor sets. Um, and there's a image that's available on a lot of the discords, which is of all the different pieces of equipment. Let me pull it up right now. Okay. And I would actually be really curious who made these images. I've seen them on almost all the discords, but they never credited who originally created these. I would be genuinely curious who made these because they are very, very helpful. Really well done. You just look at it, you immediately know what everything is. So if anybody knows who made these, I'd be curious. Just let me know. But this kind of gives you an idea of the stats per item, and then when you compare these two free-to-play sets against this pay-to-win set, like there's literally no comparison. I mean, the red Sir Arms infantry attack is 36% versus the maxed out free-to-play is only 4%. I mean, that's like not even remotely close. And you even look at the Sanctum Guardian one, the numbers are a little better, 24%. But the thing is, you can only get up to 2 of these items per KVK event. So, I mean, you're looking at months to get these maxed out. And then on top of that, some of these stats aren't going to be useful to you. So if you're an infantry archery player, these cavalry pieces are like not very helpful. So unfortunately, you're kind of looking at, if you're free to play, a mix of Marauder and Eternity, depending on what your build is. And then if you're pay to win, you're getting one of these Sir Arm sets. You'd have to spend so much money to get more than one, so you really got to pick one to focus on. And between the four sets, the infantry, archery, cav, pikemen, archer is going to be the most universally useful one because you could be a full infantry player, but then still back up your infantry with archers. Same thing with cav and pike. So even if you focus on those other troops, you could still gain benefit from the archer set. And then right now, at the moment, archers is probably the best. So then it's a matter of how high do you want these to go for the green. If you want a full green Sir Arms, it's about $50. If you want a full blue, it's about 200 total. If you want full purple, it's about 1,000 total. And then I forget the total on the yellow, but to get the full red is like $10,000. So I'd say most people have either blue or purple, and then you know, the higher tier spender players have either yellow or red. I personally have blue. One day I'd like purple. I can't imagine going higher than that. Green, I think, is just too tough because you're only going to have the one gem slot versus with the blue you have two. And so blue is going to slightly edge out the free-to-play red set. Even though the red set's going to have 4 gem slots, I think the blue is going to edge it out just because, you can't, because of the types of gems, they end up being very similar, essentially. So those are all the different types of sets. So then you got to think about what pieces to make. So let's just focus on free to play because Sir Arms, if you're going to spend money, you just buy the set and you're done. So let's switch back to the uh, the free to play stuff for a second here. So what I would probably do is just go to Forge Equipment, and then you can kind of evaluate all these. I mean, you skip all the Sir Arms, can't do anything with Sanctum, so you're really just comparing Eternity and Marauders. And with the sword, it's okay, do I want Legion attack or do I want Archer defense? The Archer defense doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because you're going to have infantry that you're using for defense, and so really the Legion attack is the more useful stat. So between these two, I would say the Blade of Affinity for the sword. For the helm, same thing, you're just comparing these two. Would I rather have infantry attack or infantry defense? I kind of think the capacity is another thing to consider because that means that your marches are slightly bigger when you're just doing like a single hit. It doesn't really matter for rallies. Um, I could see going either way here. But I would say if you went with the defense, you would get better DN stats. So I'd say either one of these is okay, but it's very close. I think the Legion again might help just because it gives you more archers. So yeah, I'm just going to lean Marauders here just for the Legion capacity, which means more archers. Um, the armor, again, I like Legion stats. I think the defense for Legion is a little bit better than just infantry defense. You could make an argument for the research speed, but the percent that you get from the research speed probably isn't going to matter all that much. And then the Legion defense will actually help your archers. It's a little more relevant when you're attacking other players because they are going to break through your infantry. So, despite what I said before about the infantry defense mattering more than the archer defense, being able to do both with one piece is good. So, again, could go either way here. Um, Another thing to think about is the materials that you need to make these. So I can go to another graphic for that, but I'll come back to that. So I guess you can kind of compare the materials. Really, either one of those would probably be okay. Research is definitely more useful than the cavalry defense. Maybe Marauders here is the better way, but couldn't really criticize either one of those. Uh, Gloves, cavalry is completely useless. Just get Marauders. It has the main stat we want anyway, which is archer attack. Boots, definitely this one because you got Legion and Archer versus Cav and Pike. And then the ring, Archer attack for sure. I mean, yeah, no question. So to kind of quickly recap those decisions, I would say Blade of Affinity, Marauder Helm, Marauder Armor. Yeah, Marauder Armor, Marauder Gloves, Infinity Boots, Infinity Ring. Those are what I would say are the best in slot for Archer Infantry. So I kind of alluded to a little bit about it or a little bit earlier, but let's talk about the materials. So when you go to forge these, you got to have these materials. Pretty much all these I've gotten from gifts, but you actually can target materials based on where you farm resources from. So if you click on any of these, they'll tell you where you get it. So if you're working on a specific piece of equipment, you can click on it and say, okay, if I want this log, I gotta go to the forest, right? And so then you can look at the other material, farmland. So, okay, if I want to make this, I need to hit farms and forests. That's one way. Another way is you go back to the Discord graphics, and someone made this chart that tells you where you get you know, each material. So you could make decisions about the equipment based on the types of items you're going to get from where you're getting resources from. I mean, for the most part, you're only going to hit up mountains and gold ore mines. So based on that, you could focus on equipment that uses these types of items. Probably doesn't matter all that much because you get these items from gifts, and you also get them from when you do the kill event, the Imperial Expedition. You get boxes of this stuff. So it's a consideration, but I wouldn't pick a piece of equipment just for how easy it is to get the materials. But it is a consideration. So that being said, right now I could make the Marauder helm and the sword, so I'll go ahead and do that. Um, you can forge these and wait. I just spend the diamonds. I mean, it's such a small amount. I just do it. It's probably not optimal, but whatever. I just do it. Especially on the stream, I'm not going to make you wait for the construction. So made those two pieces. And then the next thing is I'm pretty sure I can combine some materials. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can dismantle these. So I wouldn't worry too much about building these up too quickly because if I needed to get, a gray piece of this, I can just click on it and dismantle and get 4 of them. That's one nice thing they've done for you. They do lots of things to screw you over, but that one little nice thing is good. So I'll go ahead and make these green. Okay. We'll equip that. So in order to get these other slots, I'm going to have to get different materials. So, I could start mining and trying to target different pieces, but the reality is I wouldn't actually start targeting mining until you can clear at least a level 5. If you can't clear level 5, I wouldn't even do it. And the reality is you're not going to get gear pieces quickly until you can do a level 7. The level 7s will usually give you at least 1 piece, usually 2. And so I think if you can hold until you can do a level 7, just wait. But, if you just really want to start getting gear, you can target different mines and get whatever pieces you need. So that's the equipment tutorial. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody, and I will see you around.